Yeah, the music stopped.
Well, good evening and greetings, Henry County. I am June Wood, your chair of your Henry County Board of Commissioners. We welcome you to tonight's State of the County chat. And as we begin, I ask that you please join me in a word of prayer. Oh, Sovereign Father, we just thank you for this evening. And we thank you for our families here and businesses here throughout Henry County. We thank you, Father God, that you will continue to just watch over us and bless us with peace and prosperity. And we thank you even for this time of fellowship tonight. And we ask all of these prayers in the matchless name, in your matchless name. And all that agree, please say amen. Well, thank you again for joining in this evening. I also now would like to introduce you to Ms. Takosha Swan. She is an Army veteran. She's also on the state of Georgia's Board of Veterans. And so, Ms. Takosha Swan, we welcome you as you join us and bless us with God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Beautiful, and thank you, Ms. Swan. Thank you for that beautiful rendition. So again, we welcome you to tonight's State of the County chat. Again, tonight's meeting is intended for you to hear a brief update of Henry County and allow some questions from you, our citizens. As many of us agree, this has been one of the most challenging years of our lifetimes. The impact of COVID-19 really rocked our world and touched our families in profound ways. And we're still taking this COVID-19 pandemic very serious. As of 9:00 a.m. today, Henry County has 5,218 confirmed COVID-19 cases and 100 deaths. So let's continue to pray for those families who's lost loved ones and are still battling this virus. Please continue to keep all healthcare professionals and first responders in your thoughts and prayers as well. But we're grateful that our emergency management director was amongst the first to form a Henry County COVID-19 task force and has met all the needs of Piedmont Henry Hospital and has secured testing sites for our citizens throughout Henry County. But citizens, we requested you to please follow the CDC guidelines to prevent another wave of this virus with your family and others that you come in contact with. So again, let's stay focused, but let's also think about the prayers of what we need to have in mind regarding social unrest in our nation, for this is another area of great concern to many. The tough conversations and the efforts to better understand our diverse differences here in Henry County will help us get through these turbulent times. And it is my prayer that Henry County will be the positive role model for justice for all by setting the example for unity and harmony throughout our county. I am proud that our police chief has a zero tolerance for excessive force and is very committed to building trust, cooperation, and creating collaboration within our community, which is why a resolution was brought forth and approved unanimously by your Board of Commissioners, creating a Police Advisory Committee. This committee will provide input and ideas to improve the relationship between the police and our community. And our leadership is committed to providing the necessary training to providing public safety teams and dealing with the mentally ill and understanding the diverse makeup of our community to build more positive community relationships, in addition to dealing with the stress in their own lives. I do encourage our citizens to take advantage of the police department's community relations offerings, such as the Citizens Police Academy, the Neighborhood Watch programs, and the Women's Defense Training. But in the midst of everything that has been going on, Henry County has much to celebrate as a result of a strong leadership team, which is committed to serving you and the residents. We are proud to announce that the county's fire protection insurance rating has dropped from 4.2 to a 2, which provides for a reduction in insurance premiums for businesses as well as homeowners. Earlier this year, our county was recognized by the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia as a county of excellence that is a result of taking an innovative approach through the creation of a Henry County Public Safety Rescue Task Force. And this task force provides the EMS, the fire, and law enforcement personnel with the skills and knowledge to respond in case of an active shooter or hostile event in order to save lives and protect those who are responding. But we're also proud that of the Henry County Resource Court. It was recently nominated as a model for our mental health accountability courts. And of course, we've got to recognize our Census Complete Count Committee's work in the middle of a pandemic, which has placed Henry County in the top 10 out of 159 counties with a 70% census response rate. Yes, there is a lot to be noted. And surprisingly, during these tough times, our local option sales tax and special purpose local option sales tax revenues were higher than last year's. Our communities really benefited from shopping locally and from visitors shopping as they commute through our county. And other things to note, our Henry County Development Authority announced 6 new companies bringing over 2,000 new jobs and over $288 million of new capital investments just this year. All of this impacting us in a positive way from our taxes. And we're also very proud of our Henry County's AAA bond rating, which confirms our financial soundness and credit worthiness. Even through the budget adoption this year, it did not include a millage tax rate increase. Yes, there are great accomplishments to report for Henry County, and yes, there are some significant areas that we must work through. COVID-19 is still a challenge, and we need to continue to strengthen relations with our community and our law enforcement. We must continue to address our fast-paced growth and continuous change in Henry County. And more importantly, we need more unity and harmony throughout Henry County so that we are a role model during these turbulent times. But I could go on, but I now will pause and address questions from our chat and from those that have submitted questions ahead. So I'm now going to invite in Melissa Robinson and Ms. Shannon Sanyo, who will moderate our questions and answer services today.
Well, thank you, Chair Wood. And again, my name is Melissa Robinson, Communications Director for Henry County Government, and I will be your moderator for the question and answer portion of tonight's State of the County event, along with my co-moderator, Shannon Sanyo. Shannon?
Good evening, Madam Chair, Melissa, and residents of Henry County. I am Shannon Sanyo, the Administrative and Constituent Services Cluster Leader.
Chair, we have several questions that came from citizens prior to tonight's State of the County, and we will also be answering some questions from Facebook Live. We want viewers to know that if we don't get to all of their questions, we will provide a Q&A fact sheet that will be available on our social media platform as well as our county website by the end of the week. And if somebody has additional questions, they can certainly email us at hccommunications@co.henry.ga.us. And so, Chair, the first question we have is regarding Parks and Rec. And the question is, are all of our parks and recreation centers open at this time?
And yes, we're very glad to announce that our parks and our recreation centers are open. However, we are encouraging our citizens to please practice social distancing as you are enjoying your family entertainment or even sports. So yes, we are really glad to have that reopen because during the COVID-19 time, we had very many concerns about our parks and recreations not being open, but at the same time, affording individuals an opportunity to get the exercise during those times of sheltering in place. But yes, glad to say that they're back open now.
Thank you, Chair. Another question that's come in is in regards to potholes on county streets. What determines which potholes will get fixed?
Well, I will tell you as we continue to work on our road improvements, this is something that we encourage all of our citizens. If you're out, if you've not yet been introduced to our See, Click, and Fix application where you can actually report any issues or potholes that are out there, or even you can actually call our county office to make a report. So these are the conditions by which we do forward those on to our Department of Transportation, and they definitely make an opportunity to address the pothole issues that are out there. So is there a priority? We just ask that you do report those, help us to work through that, and we'll of course try to make the best that we can in responding to those requests.
That's great. Thank you, Chair. So our next question has to do again with leisure services, and a citizen has asked, are senior centers open? And if not, why are they not open yet?
Well, we're still very focused on our most vulnerable population, and so our senior centers are not yet open to that capacity that they were before. Most of the locations, well, I should say the locations do remain closed. As a matter of fact, our senior center over at Heritage Park is actually being used as a testing site. But we do hope that as things progress or things improve, that we do reopen the senior centers. But I do want to commend our senior team, our senior services team, who's definitely staying in contact with our seniors, making sure that their needs are being met, and again, finding creative ways to keep them engaged during this time.
Thank you, Chair. Our next question is from a resident who wants to know, how do they sign up to receive emergency warnings and updates from the county?
Well, I encourage everyone, if you have not yet gone online to register for our Code Red Alert, that is a phenomenal system that allows you to get the latest emergency warnings. It comes through on your telephone, through text messaging, and I know I've gotten it sometimes in the middle of the night. But again, the best way to sign up is to go online and register. If you're having some complications registering online, just feel free to call us here at the county.
Yes, that's great information, Chair. Thank you. So our next question has to do with traffic congestion. And many people have asked this question in different ways. What steps are being taken to reduce traffic congestion in Henry County?
Well, as we all know, that still is a major concern for our county. And fortunately, we have a comprehensive county and city transportation improvement plan. And that actually is in the process of being updated. If you tune into some of the Board of Commissioners meetings, you will see that that still is a priority. If you also make a note that even recently, we've submitted some new project lists still to the Atlanta Region Commission. And I say new, but they are included in a plan that we already have. And we're still working through the prioritization because we have so many needs for transportation. And I would also say that in that transportation plan, we are continuing to work with the counties and the cities together to make sure that we can identify some priorities. I do want to say at this time, I'm going to take it a point of personal privilege to say thank you to those citizens who've supported the special purpose local option sales taxes that we've had. Matter of fact, even in SPLOST 5, we've got a significant amount of dollars, millions of dollars that are identified and pinpointed for transportation projects within the districts. And also we will continue that focus throughout the county. These are some opportunities that we will continue to focus on. We've actually have a transportation planning director now who is really helping us to prioritize some of our needs just because it's so many needs that we've identified. We are also working still closely with the Georgia Department of Transportation, again, looking for opportunities for funding matches and the Atlanta Region Commission so that we will continue to take advantage of some of the dollars that are available. But a lot of the kudos goes right here to Henry County. I mean, please drive around and see that there's been a lot of projects that are already complete, as I can think about several right now with roundabouts and major roadways and thoroughfares that have been open, but we will continue to keep this as a priority. And I'm actually glad that we now have a Transportation Advisory Committee that the board has already approved of. So it's just a matter of pulling it together and again, identifying priorities.
Thank you, Chair. That's very important. We know traffic is on the mind of most of our residents and stakeholders. The next question we have is in regards to plans. What plans are in works for developing more walking and biking options?
Well, the good news is you've just heard me speak about probably mostly road projects, but our comprehensive transportation plan does include some thoughts about network paths, walking trails, sidewalks, and things of the like. And that's why I'm really excited that there's going to be an opportunity to update those plans for walking trails and sidewalks. The thing that I think is going to be interesting is that we continue to work with the county and the cities working together to identify how do these connect together, almost similar to a beltline concept where you're able to walk and bike, and it connects to some of the parks that we have. And fortunately, just recently, again, the Board of Commissioners just approved the update for the comprehensive transportation plan, which does include network trails and other forms of mobility.
Thank you, Chair. So I have a question here from a citizen, and the question is, how do you think we can get our youth more involved in local government and politics? And what can the commissioners do to raise awareness of that?
Well, first of all, I just encourage all of our youth groups to continue to stay engaged. Beautifully, there are some youth councils that are out there. I do understand that there is one of our commissioners that's even establishing a junior commissioner type of process that will allow some of our youth to really understand what it's like to be engaged. So I do encourage people to get involved with their local youth councils. I encourage individuals to definitely apply for the youth leadership program that is there. And I will tell you, once a year, the Atlanta Region Commission does have a model Atlanta Region Commission opportunity where our local high school students can participate in that. But here's the biggest opportunity, in my opinion. Please do participate into your Board of Commissioners meetings and your City Council meetings. And of course, one of the things that we encourage, especially those who are able to vote, let's get involved now as soon as you can to vote. And so I would encourage individuals to stay engaged. One of the things that I've been impressed with is when we've had some of our youth that have come and expressed what their desires are, what they like to see, what are their concerns. And again, they are very important to our community. And I'm just really glad that that question came about, but I encourage more to definitely participate.
Thank you, Chair. I do have another question for you. As the census comes to a close, how will Henry County benefit from those results?
Well, I would, again, just encourage everyone to please complete the census. When I think about the census, I think about power and money. Power meaning that it does allow potential legislative seats to be added or reduced in some cases if the numbers do not substantiate that. But at the same time, it does allow more funding actually for roads, for education needs, for even some of the benefits of our seniors and families here in Henry County. And that's why I'm really proud to say that Henry County surpassed the last census response of about 65%, and we're at 70% this time. But I always say that this is actually a good position for Henry County because the rest of the state is not doing well. And if you think about it, the more that we can count, the more opportunities that we have, because I've seen the benefit of what the census has done for road dollars. I've seen it also benefit us even in the CARES Act funding. I mean, people look at the population totals to actually think about how you're going to allocate dollars from one community to the next. And even when we've gone through emergency management opportunities, I've seen where dollars were, again, based on reimbursements based on population. So again, let's continue to focus in on the census. We have until October the 31st now to really reach. Let's go for 75% of getting that complete count, because it does impact us in a positive way, especially because we're a fast growing community. And we want those numbers to be reflective of what we really are. So thank you for that question.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
Chair, and thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So we have a question about COVID-19 preparations in Henry County. And somebody's asked, can you tell us what has been done so far regarding COVID-19 and safeguarding citizens and preparations for in case there is a resurgence?
Well, I'm very proud of the emergency management team, as I spoke about before, who's created a coronavirus or COVID-19 task force. And I will tell you, every week there still is a continuous meeting just to review where we are with our status and to also speak about, what needs are here for our hospital and other agencies. And if the meetings the test sites are really organized and in convenient locations. So we are continuing to pay attention to the COVID-19. We're still seeing, again, communications with the Department of Health to make sure that we are, again, being responsive, because, again, it is something that is kind of caught many by surprise. But I will tell you, I'm very proud that there already existed a pandemic plan that the emergency team had. We had to, of course, make some adjustments because this was so unusual. But again, we will continue to make a note of all that we need to do to make sure that Henry County, especially the hospital, has all that it needs to make sure that we're able to take care of our citizens.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Chair, as you were talking about the census, we got some questions in regards to CARES funding. You spoke directly to how our results from the census and every resident county, how that benefits are receiving of federal dollars, specifically, most recently, the CARES funding. Can you tell us how are CARES Act funds being distributed, and can just anyone apply for that help?
Well, the great thing is that Henry County has been awarded $8.4 million. Again, that has come from the state for CARES Act funding. And these funds are really there to help small businesses, especially if they have 20 or fewer employees. And then it's also to help those nonprofits who are helping families or helping individuals that really have needs. Individuals cannot apply directly. I mean, again, it has to be small business, or if you are a family that is in need, you need to go through a nonprofit. The dollars are being, actually, if you're a small business, you can make application and can at least, apply for up to $10,000. We've got a committee that's actually reviewing all of that in the allocation process. And then for the nonprofits, these are really based on an as-need basis, in addition to the fact that we're going to see what kind of resources that they are providing. The good news is that applications are still open. Again, we've got $8.4 million. We've just kind of gone through the first phase of it. So applications are still open. I encourage individuals, if you're interested as a small business or even as a nonprofit, that you definitely contact us here at the county to make application.
Thank you, Chair. And if I can piggyback on that question, when will the next applications be presented or announced in regards to receiving CARES funding?
Well, great. Well, the next round is going to actually come back before the Board of Commissioners. And so that we'll begin a review and maybe even fine tune some of the processes that have already been determined, by the first phase. So again, we expect another round, I would imagine, in the next couple of weeks to come back before the Board of Commissioners.
That's great. Thank you, Chair. And I know you had mentioned SPLOST earlier, SPLOST 5, and we've had several questions regarding some of the projects, some of the big projects coming up on SPLOST 5. Can you maybe speak to those a little bit?
Yep, I can. I had some notes here a few seconds ago, so we're going to test my great memory. But first of all, let me just say that we've got almost 50% of our projects that are transportation related types of projects. But we also have a state-of-the-art aquatic center that is included in that. And the other thing too, we're really fortunate that we will continue to focus on the fire stations that are needed throughout the county, in addition to some other public safety needs. So again, we thank those that supported SPLOST 5 that will allow us to continue to focus on the transportation needs throughout the county, in addition to identifying some wonderful family entertainment opportunities here in the county. And I must remember that we definitely want to include the Boys and Girls expansion project as well. That is part of that.
Very exciting. Thank you. So it looks like we are out of questions at this time. I think there are more still coming on Facebook Live, but at this point, I think we're going to close out unless Shannon has other questions. We're going to close out the question and answer portion of this event.
Thanks, Melissa. That's all the questions I've received as well.
Well, a couple of things. I want to say again, thank you, Melissa, Ms. Robinson, and Ms. Senior for moderating, and even for those citizens who submitted in questions. Since we have a little time, I'm going to take some liberty to kind of talk about just a couple of other things that I do want to elaborate on. Is the fact that Henry County is still a growing community and a growing county. And in 2019, our population is over 234,000 individuals. And by 2050, we're projected to be at about 370,000 plus. But the thing that I encourage us to continue to think about is not just the growth, but how we're growing. According to the Atlanta Region Commission's 2018 data, 45% of our residents were Black and 41.8% white, 7.2% Hispanic, 3.3% Asian. And then we've got two or more races that is comprised of about 2.2%, but we also have Native Alaskan of about 0.2%, along with Native Hawaiian and other Pacific Islanders at 0.1%. I just want to at least point that out that, we are in a wonderful growing community. And as we are continuing to work through opportunities, I'm still excited about the opportunities that I'm already seeing in the community, where individuals are now talking about their differences and understanding their different cultures and having some really tough conversations. So we again just appreciate what is happening here in Henry County, and still do look forward to us as a growing community. But at the same time, how do we blend together as we continue to move forward? I really want to say thank you for all of you who are participating tonight, and especially for the communications team. Tonight, State of the County was a little different in that it's virtual because we're in the COVID-19 environment. And I would also say to you, if there's anyone who's interested in actually having social distancing, safe in-person meeting, please email me. I would be more than happy to come and maybe have a little bit more, a smaller group conversation with you, but just felt that it was time for you all in the midst of everything that's going on to highlight some things that are happening here in Henry County. So I very much appreciate the engagement tonight, and I hope that you see that your government is working for you during COVID-19, and still, during our tough times of COVID-19. Many of the employees actually worked from home. Some of them teleworked, and of course, our heroes, our first responders, never missed a beat. But I want to commend the county management team and the staff for continuing to make sure that services are being met, partnering, of course, with our tax commissioners, working with the court systems, just to make sure that during this time that we were able to do what was possible during this time, and at the same time, make sure that everyone was safe, especially our citizens. So as I think about where Henry County is, yes, we've had some tough challenges this year, but I see such a bright future for Henry County, which includes the success of the cities of McDonough, Stockbridge, Locust Grove, and Hampton. We're all in this together. And I see Henry County as a regional leader, working through our cultural differences, and at the county level, working through partisan politics, and knowing that we're going to be, of course, in a changing environment as we continue to grow. But I also say that we have the right recipe for working together on common goals and respecting our differences, for the prosperous future of our children and grandchildren. I envision Henry County just moving past even county districts and city boundaries, so that we've got one voice for joint county and city public safety and land use, transportation, and even economic development plans, so that we're able to shape the growth as we continue to move forward. We have the foundation to plan the boundaries of the industrial districts in the Locust Grove area. We need to establish a clear medical and technology district in Stockbridge and North Henry area, and even create more of an education, workforce, innovation, entrepreneur district in the McDonough area, while we are at the same time creating more family entertainment near Hampton and the Atlanta Motor Speedway. I really do see Henry County as a role model for a vibrant and inclusive community for our residents and businesses. And so again, I just encourage us to continue as we look at, all of the things that are going on in our society, but look at the great things that are happening here. And at the same time, I just encourage us to continue to work together to bring more solutions and to say thank you for all that you're doing. So in closing, let's continue to follow the COVID-19 CDC guidelines as we care for our loved ones and others. And let's please complete the census. So I got a census mask. And there's only 10 questions, and it takes about 10 minutes to complete that process. And I would encourage us to please continue the tough conversations and really take some time to share some time to get to know those who are different than you. That's how we begin to understand and appreciate each other. So I just encourage us to stay focused there. So as we continue, into our future, I just ask that we take a focus. Let's remain in faith. Let's work together to get through these challenging times. And again, I just know that Henry County will get through these times, and in a really great way. There are other communities that are already somewhat envious of things that have been accomplished here in Henry County. So I just encourage you again, let's stay in faith, let's stay focused, and I will continue to pray for you. And I ask that God bless you and your family, and also Henry County. Thank you again for sharing this time this evening. And if there are any questions that you'd like to have addressed, please continue to send those to our communications team. And we'll look forward to another update really soon. Thank you and have a good night.